Hare Krishna. Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapatakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Sri Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopecha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Mustata Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavan Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarabhyasya Kripa Sindhabhye Vacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarin Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langai Girim Yitripatamam Mande Shri Gurundanataranam Paramanandam Sri Chaitanya Shram Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Prabhupada ki jai. So everyone, very honored and grateful to you for your presence today. And so we are continuing with the session last week on Who Am I? The Science of Soul. Not that the session ended. Not. I doubt even today it will end or not, but let us see. So can anyone do a recap what we discussed last week for 2 minutes? What is that you have taken home? 1 point. You know? Can anyone unmute and say what is that message that you took home last week? Can anyone unmute and say nothing?
The soul is permanent and not the body.
Wonderful. Who is this?
This is Shanti from Goa.
Who?
Shanti.
Shantiji, thank you very much. Yes, soul is eternal, soul is permanent, but body is temporary. Wonderful. Thank you. 2 more points. What is that you have taken home? Anybody?
Hare
I mean,
Krishna, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
yes.
I'm Krishna Veni from Chennai, Prabhu. Kandod Pranams, Prabhu. Actually, there are three types of body. That is gross body, shuttle body, and then soul.
Spiritual body. Yes.
Yes, spiritual body. Yes.
What is gross body made up of? Our gross body made up of? Anybody? It is there on the screen actually. Can everyone see the screen?
Gross body is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether.
Okay.
Subtle
And
body
not,
is made up of ego, false ego, intelligence, mind.
what is spiritual body, our soul made up of? Can anybody
idea.
say?
No idea, Prabhu.
Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu. Spiritual, eternal bliss.
And
It's made up of energy.
no,
Knowledge.
can everyone see this? Knowledge. That's it.
Yeah.
Satchitananda.
Satchitananda. Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Sat means it. Our soul is eternal. Chit means it's full of knowledge. And Ananda means blissful. Why we want to be happy? That is the nature of the soul. This is what we have covered last week. And can everyone see the screen? What do you see on the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We discussed our 3 bodies. Now we'll continue. So last week, I think, Mother Krishnavedi asked, can we see the soul? And I said, yes, we can see the soul actually. By chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna mantra, you can see the soul actually. By chanting the holy name, you can see the soul, no doubt. And also I told a process to see the soul, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So today, very interestingly, science made. Can everyone mute, please? So science made progress in this area, and we'll see today. One is common sense. When somebody dies, Corona has claimed, I heard all over the world, close to 10 crores, 100 million people died, 100 million people died. So when somebody dies, we say, he passed away, she passed away. Who passed away? They're sleeping there. Take them up and go, no, the soul is gone. What is that? The soul is gone. The soul has passed away. What is very interesting, that's what we're actually connected with. That is gone. And this is only just a temporary, what do you call, a machine, say, sitting there. But actual soul is gone. What is that? Soul departed. So one day I was actually, somebody left the world, and I went for, it's a devotee, I went to attend a funeral. So, I want to apply tilak. It happened 2-3 years ago actually. And I was applying tilak on the body, on the dead body. And I got a feeling I'm applying the tilak on a piece of wood. Wow. We don't even, you don't say, that lady means, Okay, so Lata is sleeping there. No, nobody says that. The body, a body decomposed. Nobody uses the name. So what we loved most, that has gone. What is remaining is only just a gross body. And what is that? As I said, can you see near-death experience, ND and OBE? Since they did a lot of research on near-death experiences and outer body experiences. Many people, in the operation theater, they saw their own body being operated. And when they went out of the body, they felt very good. But they came back, especially, there is actually Michael Sabom from Emory Medical School, Atlanta. He did research on near-death experience and outer body experience. I'm going to show some videos today, and so he says, many patients, as I said, they saw their body being operated, and 11 to 14% of average American population who are mental and physically healthy have had outer body experience. Medical Journal of Current Problems in Pediatrics. So, enough research in NDE, impeccable scientific credentials. Dr. Michael Sabom, cardiologist, professor, Emory University Medical School, Atlanta. So, before I show the video, also this Dr. Bigelow, a surgeon from Canada, Toronto, he says, as a doctor, as a cardiologist, Bigelow is also a cardiologist, he says, many times I operated, suddenly something in the eyes is gone. The eyes become lifeless. Then we realize that the soul is gone, and the body is dead. So what is that? There's so many books on this in this area actually. Written by doctors and scientists actually. They all have done PhDs, and any university in India or America, you can find these books. In fact, actually, I'm not doing this anymore. But 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, I used to carry a book written by another professor, whom I'm going to see now, Ian Stevenson. And because nowadays videos came, I don't carry that book anymore. So Michael Sabom says, his doctor says, many patients reported this. Like, the patient, so-called in the terms of doctors, is dead. Then, they work on the patient to revive him. Resuscitation therapy they do. Some cases the patient doesn't come back, but some cases patients, they are revived back to consciousness and they speak. And many patients said the same thing. They were going through a tunnel, but at the end of the tunnel there was a big light, effulgence, and they're going through very fast. Suddenly, they don't have idea, they were brought back into the body, which they were not wishing actually. So this is what Sabom said. So I have a video here.
In Germany.
You have to, someone has to tell me. The video, I'll tell you the essence of the video. One lady was brought to the hospital. She died. They were performing the surgery. She lost a lot of blood. and they felt, they could not save her. Means they clinically dead after some time. But then that lady started speaking. Of course, she's alive now, very young girl. She saw her body being operated on the table, on the operation table. And that is what she understood. She is different from the body. So should I play the video?
Yes, Kriti.
Christina's doctors are also losing their battle. Her heart will not restart. She has just minutes before her brain too shuts down.
Es wurden Defibrillationsschocks
We were trying to jumpstart her heart with a defibrillator.
zum Schlagen zu bringen. Gleichzeitig
And we gave her several drugs.
Seite mehrere Medikamente. Der Patientin hatte zu viel Blut.
The patient had lost too much blood. Her organs weren't getting enough.
Wo kein Mensch und ich am wenigsten
We really didn't think we could save her.
erfolgreich sein können.
Because Christina's heart has stopped pumping, many would consider her dead. Yet something seems to be happening with her mind.
Das nächste, was ich wieder weiß, ist, ja, dass ich wohl unter der Decke...
Next thing I know, I was hovering underneath the ceiling of the room. I could see down on myself laying on the operating table. And I saw the surgeons and heard them talking to each other. The scenario was pretty hectic. I realized that this was about life or death.
To help understand near-death experiences, some researchers focus on the content of these episodes.
A common element that occurs early in near-death experiences is what's called an out-of-body experience. At that time, the person seems to be able to see and hear things going on, but up from the vantage point above their body.
So, her heart started, her heart stopped functioning. They felt she's dead, but she saw her body being operated. She went out of her body. She had this outer body experience. And later, very interestingly, she came back alive to the surprise of doctors. That is a sign we are not the body. We can go to the, like as a car and driver, sometimes you will go to the car. Not necessarily you should be in the car all the time, right? So there are so many, actually, Michael Sabam, he wrote a book. If you just go and search Michael Sabam from Memory Medical School, and he did research on outer body experiences. Actually, I have so many stories on, one or two stories on stories from his book, but due to the time constraint, actually I showed a video, right? So that is a good, that video itself is a good example. So what is that? This is one medical proof where medical proof that we are not this body but spirit soul. We are separate from the gross and subtle bodies. In fact, let me tell you, the gross body is on the table. Said we have three bodies, right? We have three bodies, right? The gross body is on the table, but subtle body and soul is the one that have gone up. In fact, I read, when you go through a lot of pain during operation especially, or even during accidents, when when the body goes through too much pain, then immediately what mind does, the subtle body does, it makes an exit, it goes out of the body. That's how we experience outer body experience. How many of you are understanding? You're understanding? Unmute one person and say yes.
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 So next one is this is Ian Stevenson, Carlson Professor of Psychiatry, University of Virginia. He has investigated over 2,000 cases of spontaneous reincarnation. You know, he did extensive research. Very interestingly, Ian Stevenson never wanted to, you know, do the research on reincarnation. But you know, as a doctor, children were brought to him, and children of 2, 3, 4-year-old, why they had phobias he couldn't understand. Why they had phobias he could not understand. You know, I'm sure many of you know hypnotic regression. You're a 20-year-old, so through hypnosis, if you somebody takes you back. If you're 25-year-old and somebody takes you back 30-year-old, many people spoke. In fact, America, you know, it's very interesting nowadays. It's happening past maybe 10 years now, 7, 8 years for sure. I'm hearing left and right about this. And what is that? So during hypnotic regression, what, you know, if you're 20-year-old, they'll take you back 19 years. Then what happened in the womb, they will speak. If they take you back 25 years, there's many people spoke about their previous lives. That was very interesting, you know. So that was very interesting. So Ian Stevenson usually would verify the cases where, especially with children, like, you know, okay, let us see, they're Americans, but they speak good Spanish, or they speak good French, born in an American family, or they speak, you know, they behave 10 years older than their age, likewise. That type of cases he would verify, you know. And actually, why children of 5 years, why are they behaving like this? This brought him to do more research in this area of reincarnation. And in fact, actually, now he wrote a book, first book in 1968, and the second book in late 90s, 1994 or 96. And he passed away actually. And because he was actually a doctor, he would be very, you know, he would present this evidence to the medical community, you know, all the doctors and professors. He would be very careful with his evidence, you know. Anyway, I have a couple of videos also. This is, of course, this video is not a case of Ian Stevenson, but this is amazing. You want to see this video? Can everyone see and hear clearly?
Yes, Guruji. Yes, Prabhuji.
This boy was actually 5-year-old, and you know, he was brought into cockpit of the aircraft, international aircraft, and the boy speaks to the pilot. You know, somebody forward this to me, and you know.
Listen, he knows a lot, huh?
Everything. Also, some planes have a ram air turbine.
A ram air turbine, Adam?
Yeah.
And what does that do?
It gets emergency systems back on if the engines fail.
Okay.
Then the ram air turbine can help to bring back the systems.
To bring back the systems to control the aircraft?
Yeah. But due to the no engine power, the landing gear doors will not come up.
Okay. Okay.
After that, you have to do something else to lower the flaps.
Oh, you have to do something else to lower the flaps?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to lower them by gravity alone.
Okay. Okay.
You have to drop the gear by gravity alone.
Uh-huh.
And if you have no hydraulics and your plane is banking right, you reduce the engine. You reduce engine 1 and increase engine 2.
Okay.
Then the plane will go level again.
Oh, wow. It's called asymmetrical power, yeah?
Yeah.
How old are you?
5 years, 11 months.
Get out of here.
Really?
No way. Bless you. Bless you.
You're so smart. My God, you
Bless
be
you.
like, what you gonna do actually when you grow
Mashallah.
up? Not pilot, but what do you
No.
wanna be?
I will be a captain,
Yes.
just like you.
Yes. Better than me. Better than me, yeah?
Yeah,
I can't wait to fly with you. Will you remember me?
yeah,
You will?
yeah. What's
Okay.
your name?
Samar.
Summer.
Samar, will you remember that? Okay. I need to meet your parents. All right? Shall we go?
Yeah, the flight engineer can tell the pilot if all hydraulic systems are down to 0.
Oh, wow. He can let them know, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but now we don't need a flight engineer.
yeah.
We have the ECAM, which you probably know about.
Well, the TCAS can tell
Oh.
if there is an impact coming.
Okay.
One will tell to climb, and one will tell to descend.
Oh, wow. That's what's that system called?
It's called TCAS.
TCAS. Wow. Good stuff.
More power meant to climb.
Uh-huh.
Less would result in a dive and crash.
Oh, wow. Wow, we don't want to do that, do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see the flaps lower in the air.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Can I meet your parents?
Yeah.
Let's go. You're something else. Bless you.
How many of you liked it? So, you know, what is that? Why I'm showing this is,
Lesson.
why I'm showing this is, if you understand, we have a next life. Actually, that is the next session. Why bad things happen to good people. Many people think we have only one life. And when, in fact, today, many people are not interested in spiritual life. Because technological development is there, so much money is there. Position, power are there. And what our parents, grandparents did not have, we have it. You know, with a cell phone, we can reach the other end of the planet. And all the facilities and amenities and luxuries we have. That if you understand, my present life will decide my future life. That's what Buddha says, actually. It'll change your life. Every action has equal and opposite reaction is not only Newton's third law. It's nature's law. It is nature's law also. You're listening? So the point I'm making is, you know, if you have a position, you will not exploit others, because next life you'll be exploited. You will not yell at others. You will not give trouble to others. And rather, you will utilize human life to purify yourself. And I always say this in America. We all came to America because dollar is 70 rupees. But 30, 40 years later, we have to go to a different place. We don't know when, where and when and how we are going. So human life, if you utilize it to purify your existence, let me be honest with you, you can go back to Godhead. Many people don't know this. You know, you can attain the perfection of your life. You can cleanse your heart. If you cleanse your heart, all the impurities. And if you realize you're a soul is very pure. It doesn't have any impurity at all. The subtle body, I showed you, as mind, intelligence, ego. Mind has all the impurities. Soul is pure. But we think we are a gross body and subtle body. That is our illusion. That is our nonsense. And mind is the repository. It has saved everything. If you all agree, I'm sure you'll agree with me. Either we are in the past thinking I should not have done, or we are in the future. I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. Like right now, the program, after this program, I'll switch on the TV and watch something else. Or I'll call my patient and I'll talk to him. Or I have to do this. I'll have to go to market and bring. That is the nature of the mind. But if you can, first you realize you're not the body. Second thing, you realize you're a spirit soul, except theoretically. Third, work on controlling the mind. Mantra. Manastrayate iti mantra. You know, so we teach Bhakti Yoga process for self-realization. And if you take it up, the process, along with whatever you're doing, you have been doing, you'll have a bank account. So let the cleansing continue. Let the cleansing of the mind continue. So the point is, Stevenson, this doctor, what is that? He did research on reincarnation. You know. So we saw near-death experience and outer experience. The research was done by Dr. Michael Sabom, but a research on reincarnation was done by Stevenson. He's also doctor, passed away. So finally he concludes. So he has a book by name 20 Suggestive Cases of Reincarnation. I mean, practically everyone is Indian. So in fact, actually Stevenson verified the cases, with cases from India actually. So in his book, he mentions those cases from India too, you know, because he has a student who had studied under him in America, came back to Bangalore, NIMHANS, National Institute of Medical Science and Neurosurgery. And through her, I mean, they both did research. They both studied a couple of cases of reincarnation, and he mentions it. In fact, one case is Deepika Padia today is a professor in Mumbai, Mumbai University actually. So phobias are related to the mode of death of the person whose life is being remembered, Dr. Stevenson. For example, if previous life ended in drowning, there would be phobia of water, hydrophobia. If previous life ended in stabbing, there would be phobia for bladed weapons, fear. If ended up in shooting, there would be phobia for firearms and so on. Difference in temperament of twins proves souls. Even if two people, a mother gives birth to twins, they're born same time. I mean, maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes difference, but just to the same mother, they share the same blood. But very interestingly, so even though identical twins are physically born by splitting of a single egg from the same genetic material, they may have striking contrasts in temperament. The difference in temperaments is because of the two different souls reincarnated in different bodies that are genetically identical. That is a sign we are the spirit soul, not the body. Even though, we are coming, the twins are coming from the same mother, from the same genetic material, but their temperaments are different. That proves we are not the body, but a spirit soul. I have another video. This is very lengthy, but very interesting. This came from Fox News. I don't want to waste time, but this is there in the internet. This is very famous actually. This is like in India we have this different in news. What do you call that? State news and ITV, this TV, that TV, so many TVs, Gemini TV. Likewise in America we have Fox TV. This is actually, whatever the video I'm going to show, it was shown in Fox News. So I'll give the story and I'll show only 1 minute of the video. That way, we can save time. I have a question for all of you. Please, one person unmute and answer. Your name is, that is not your name, sorry. Somebody left the world in 1970 with the name Ram. He had a strong desire. I should have Ram name only all the time. 20 years later, 30 years later, 1998 or 2000, he was born. Today is 20-year-old. When he was born, what is the probability his parents would give him the name Ram? Anybody? It is remote, right? Can everyone hear what I'm speaking?
Yes, Prabhuji. Very less.
Very less. Thank you. So, in Bhagavatam, one day I came across, I'm sure you all know Lord Shiva. Shiva was married to Sati, daughter of Daksha. But they had a problem, and Sati ended her life. And Lord Shiva became angry, created Virabhadra, and Virabhadra came and cut off the head of Daksha. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto. Then Daksha, he ended his life because they attached a goat head to him. He was born after probably 2 manvantaras later, probably around 10 million years later. How many years? 10 million years. He was born in the lineage of Dhruva. Dhruva? Dhruva who attained perfection. He was born in the lineage of Dhruva as a son of, Prachina Parishad gave birth to Prachetas. Prachetas had one son, and they gave him the name Daksha. When I read it, this is too much. Daksha wanted to retain that name. He was born 10 million years later. Nature is giving, nature is inspiring the parents to name the boy Daksha. Wow. This is a time pass story, everybody would think. But can you believe this story I'm going to show? This boy was born. He was in Second World War. He was in Second World War, yes. He was a fighter pilot. His name is James. And even today, America, this fighter pilot, he was fighting with Japanese, and they shot him in the air. It was a direct hit, and all his friends from the base, that naval base, they were watching this plane shot by Japanese crashing in the midair, and so it was a midair explosion, and they saw this plane crashing into the waters, and that's how he died. 30 years later, he was born in Midwest America. Can you guess? The parents' name gave him the name?
James.
That's it. Can you believe it? So in other words, the tail of the fish decides the movement of the fish. Your desire and your karma will decide the next life. Karma, of course, major karma. Some desires also will be fulfilled. So I'll show you a part, like the video I showed, that boy, ditto. This is also ditto. But only difference is he recollected everything. So watch the video.
They have the same name and boyish good looks. James M. Houston, raised in the Midwest. They have the same name and boyish good looks. James M. Houston, raised in the Midwest. James M. Leininger, a young boy from the Bayou.
Whoa! There's something in the eyes. It's undeniable.
That's not all they share.
Somehow James Houston's spirit has affected my son, either through reincarnation. I don't know how it happened.
I can beat the Japanese easy as pie.
Initially, what caught my attention was James's extreme fascination with airplanes.
And every night he slept with his G.I. Joe action figures, which he named.
I took him to the Kavanaugh Flight Museum.
Here's home video. While the other kids casually look at the plane, 2-year-old James seems to inspect it. Watch as he checks the underbelly, then climbs inside, donning the headset.
The pilot put him on?
I said, oh, look, there's a bomb on the bottom. He said, that's not a bomb, that's a drop tank.
Bouncing about in the cockpit, James was flying high. That night, their world would change forever.
He started having the nightmares, and that was my first indication that there was something wrong. It was a panic-stricken, terrorized screaming.
Over and over again, James had the same terrible nightmare, 4 to 5 times a week. He was too young to explain the dream, but he could draw.
Bombing ships, you see men parachuting. Here's another one where planes are dropping bombs.
Help me.
He would just be crying. He'd say, airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out. He laid on his back and kicked up at the ceiling, and he goes, Mama, the little man's going like this. And he laid on his back and kicked his feet up. The little man's going, ooh, 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 can't get out. And I said, well, who's the little man, baby? And he goes, me. I thought Bruce and I were just gonna faint.
They questioned, what kind of plane?
Corsair.
Why did your airplane crash?
My plane was shot down.
Who shot your plane?
He looked at me like I was a village idiot. He said,
The Japanese. I kept thinking, where is he getting this? I was a stay-at-home mom, so I know that there wasn't anything that he was being exposed to.
Not exposed to in this life, but perhaps.
I mean, you're understanding. If you want, I can show the full video, or we can end it. But basically, you know, he was a pilot before. His plane was shot, but later he was born, and parents gave him the same name. And he recollected everyone. He remembered his sister. He remembered recollected all the pilots, but they're like now 70, 80-year-old, you know? So.
Same insatiable fascination with air. One was declared missing and presumed dead.
where did he take off from a boat?
Do you remember the name of your boat? He said Natoma.
Found several thousand hits on the word Natoma.
The USS Natoma Bay launched into battle, headed for Iwo Jima in the fight for Lady Gulf.
It's the biggest naval battle in the history of the world.
Leo Pyatt served on the ship. From his home in Ohio, he organizes the Natoma Bay reunions. That's how Bruce found him.
I wanted to disprove it.
He asked a few questions about, did I know some of the people? Oh yeah, I remember those people. And so he got very quiet.
It was all real. The people and places James described actually existed. And remember those G.I. Joe dolls that James named? Turns out 3 men with the same names, first and last, served on the Natoma and were killed in action. James said they greeted him in heaven after his crash.
I'd always asked him, do you remember what your name was? And he always said James. But his name is James.
Yes, there was a Jim Houston, a rather large shell. Just hit him in the engine and it burst into flames and went down.
They showed Leo the drawings.
He was right on the nose. I'm sure, in my mind, that he was there.
Leo invited James, now 3, to the reunion. James recognized several pilots, even called them by name.
You're Bob Greenwald. I'm serious.
And he'd never met Bob Greenwald?
No, he'd never met him before.
And someone else was invited. James Houston's sister, Ann.
And he goes, it's not Ann, it's Annie. She wasn't my oldest sister. I had an older sister than that. And I said, you did? Who was that? And he goes, Ruth. I mean Ruth.
Annie is what they called me when I was little. Knowing my name and my sister's name, things that my brother did when he was a kid. It's too amazing to describe how he would feel that way, but he does. He considers me his sister.
But does she consider James her brother?
I think it's probably a reincarnation of my brother.
So the point is,
Suzanne Stratford, Fox 8 News.
Yeah, he recognized He recognized the sister. He recognized his previous pilots who are 70-year-old now. Why I'm showing this video is Buddha says your present life will decide future life. As I said before, Punarapi Jananam Punarapi Marana. This lifetime you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you're a professor. What about next lifetime? You know, and we have their head down, feet up for 9 months. Again school, again college, and we don't remember all the relatives we had, children, family, and start everything afresh. Krishna says in Gita, this is Bhagavad Gita, right? Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna for this reason. Number 8, infinity, cycle of birth and death. Why? Because impurity is there in the heart. Get rid of the impurities. Awaken that love of God. You know? Domena vriyate vahnihi yatadarsho malena cha tatol bena vrito garbhastadhati nidamavritam. You know, the way fire is covered by smoke, the way mirror is covered by dirt, the way baby is covered by, the fetus is covered by the womb of the mother. Our knowledge that we are spirit soul, our pure knowledge, our love of God is covered with dirt today, lust, impurities. Cleanse the heart. So no, for that, every day we go to bathroom to clean the body, come out, clean the heart parallelly. Don't give up anything, you know. You have a job, do the job. You have a family, take good care of them. But take care of yourself, serve yourself, cleanse your heart, which is the paramount duty that one has to undertake in his life or her life. Otherwise, you have to do the same thing which you have been doing. Haribol. But we can understand these things only in human life. But when we go to different species, we can't understand this. And human life also what? Up to 40, 20 to 40 is youth, 40, 45, 50, body starts, going down. It goes into the maintenance mode. So those of you, those of you in the middle age knew this very well. Then what? Suffering. This much happiness, this much suffering. This much happiness, this much suffering. This much happiness, this much suffering. But if you utilize life, next life at least you don't need to go through suffering. You'll go back to Godhead. Vaikuntha, Krishna Loka, Golok Vrindavan. If you adopt a BhaktiYoga process, if you think there's a time pass stories, he shows, something is, okay, I have to do these things. So, I have a question for you. Is it interesting? If you're finding it interesting.
Yes, Prabhu, it's interesting.
Very nice.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, usually when you say Bhagavad Gita is telling, time pass story, religion. And when you say, scientists are tests and doctors and what is it, professors, then Bhagavad Gita, so sad. That's the reality. So the reincarnation, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Socrates, they all supported the concept of reincarnation actually. This is the case Ian Stevenson I was talking about, right? Shukla Gupta, remembering her past life. Very interestingly, in 1918, Shukla Gupta's story And I'm sure Major, right? Anyone knows Swati magazine? Mille ఎవరికైనా Swati magazine తెలుసా? Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I read this story in that magazine actually. You know, this girl. So can you? This lady, she gave birth to a daughter, and she gave birth to a daughter, and when that daughter was only 3-year-old, you know, she, her health spoiled, and she had to leave the world. You know, then in the next life she was born like this one, and her parents gave her a small Barbie doll, some toy. And she was feeding the doll, giving the bath. And it's natural for girls to take care of the dolls. But then she started speaking, you know, I know my family is there, take me there, my family is there, take me there. And parents, just to see why she's telling, they took, so, she was taken to the same address. She had no problem, finding that address. And she recognized the previous home. 30 people, she recognized her husband. I'm sorry. She recognized the previous home, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, husband, and daughter. She showed husband in 30 people, and all the nicknames where they would save the money in that joint family, in the joint family home. So she embraced one girl who was only 12. She was only, 6, but that girl was 12. She embraced her, saying, Minu, So the point is, this case was verified by Stevenson, actually. There are many more. I have another session, where there are many cases of reincarnation. Why? Only to tell this life is only very, very tiny life in the eternity, in the history, in the eternity. So what is the mechanism of incarnation? Why am I showing this? Only to prove we are not this body and spirit soul. The second one is, what is the reincarnation? What is the mechanism? But before we see that, first of all, soul is there. We have soul. It has 2 coverings: gross body, subtle body, and gross body, right? Sthula sarir and sukshma sarir. But so where does the soul live? The region of the heart. If you consider in the region of the heart, soul lives in this area. So heart is a mechanical device. Lub dub, lub dub. Who is giving the strength to a heart to, for this mechanical device to function? Who is giving the energy to make the heart flutter? Soul, actually. Then what is the size of the soul? There are 2 Upanishads. They speak of the same sloka with the different Sanskrit words. Keshagra Shatavagasya Siddhagalpadasya Bhago Jivasagnya Sachanantyagalpade. Take one hair, like I cannot take it, of course, but you can take it. Take tip of the hair, cut into 100 parts. Take one tip and you cut it into another 100 parts. That 10,000 part of the tip of the hair, that is the size of the soul, present in the region of the heart. Because of its presence, we are flapping our wings. We are acting. When soul lives, soul means what? Consciousness. Chaitana. Chaitana is there as long as soul is there. When soul is gone, consciousness is gone. So this is the same soul that is present in a big, huge elephant, a whale, or a tiny ant. What is the size of the soul? 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair. So, what happens of the what happens at the time of death? We have desires. We have performed so many activities, good and bad. They're all stored in our subtle body. They are all stored in our subtle body. So when our next, as last time I said this, how many years how long we live in this body is based not on the years, but the number of breaths. Based on the number of breaths. Who knows this? Krishna, the super soul, Paramatma, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam, Hridya Sarjana Tishtati Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantra Rudhani Maya. So Krishna is Paramatma, he knows this. So the moment our time in this body is up, our next body is decided where we'll go based on our desires, our actions and reactions, our good karma, bad karma, and of course bhakti. If you start doing it, then we'll go to next life. If you are fully purified by that time, you'll be liberated. You'll go back to Vaikuntha, Krishna Loka. Krishna says you don't need to stay here, come back. You have utilized your human form perfectly. But some people, they don't know this. Okay, they use, many people, they compare time with money actually. I was like, put the money, and then children will use it. They don't, even how much of money you have. We eat only 2 chapatis, 3 chapatis, 4. Once you touch 50, fear of diabetes, right? So people don't understand. But anyway, what happens? Whatever our desires are, whatever we think of at the last moment of our life, yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevati kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavita. Whatever at the time of leaving the world, at the time of death, whatever you think of, you will become that. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. If you think of your pet dog in your home, we become that. If you think of somebody, some relative in your home, father, mother, spouse, children, you'll come as your children's children. You'll come as a child of your children. You'll come as a child of one of your children. If you're very attached to spouse, husband, you'll become a Prabhu next life. You'll get a human, male body. If you think of, the wife, you'll get a female body next life. Natural plastic surgery. But there are how many species? So many dresses. 8.4 million species. We can choose any dress. More than we choose, nature chooses based on our activity. That's how we are traveling. We are traversing through different bodies based on our desires, based on our karma. But I'm sorry. So based on our desires, Based on our karma, our subtle body gets the next body. Do you know this? We have gone through billions and billions and trillions of bodies, lives, but we have only one mind, one intelligence, one ego, one subtle body. That develops the desires, With that subtle body, we develop desires. And we go to next life, next life, next life. So Bhagavad Gita says, it's impossible to become desireless because the soul has desire. So the nature of the soul is to desire. Then what to do? Bhakti yoga means purify your desire. Spiritualize your desire. You want to eat gulab jamun, there is nothing wrong in it. Offer to Krishna. Let me give. Krishna is the one who gave gulab jamun. God we call God Krishna. Offer gulab jamun to God and eat it. It is purified. It's karma-free food. I'm just giving an example. This is the verse I already told, right? Whatever you think of, you'll become that. So, you're very aggressive in this lifetime. If our nature is like that of a dog, will become that. Nature is that of a cat, will become that. Natural plastic surgery. Papa says you want to eat anything and everything. You want to eat like tiger likes fresh blood. Somebody wants to eat anything and everything. And we get that type of bodies. Next week, I know if we can finish this, we see 3 modes. Without 3 modes, there is no spirituality. 14th chapter Bhagavad Gita will discuss that. Now we have seen this video anyway. So, somebody, the Krishnaveni Mataji said, body is temporary and soul is eternal. So, once our presence in this body is over, when we are in this body, we do some good karma, we do some bad karma. Of course, we do bhakti. That's good. But we also have a lot of desires. And there's action, reaction. And all this will prepare next body. Then what happens? Based on our desires and good and bad karma, and the soul goes in the sky and will come down. Next lifetime starts. Forget everything. In Telugu there is a song, Neevu Leka Nenu Lenu. Not like that. I can't live without you. It's only a song. Everyone has to leave everything. So, soul ignores God's laws and engages in sinful activities with his impure mind and senses. Then one glides down to animal species. If we abuse our human life and do sinful activities, then we go to animal species. Hare Krishna. If we want to eat anything and everything, then, as I said, tiger, if your behavior is like that.
ऐसे ही भागने के हाँ नहीं बन कहाँ जा रहे हो घर को जा रहे
Prabhuji, please mute. Prabhuji. Please mute.
टाइम हो गया हाँ
So, and if we are very aggressive, tamogun, which we'll see next week, coming weeks. If you want to eat anything and everything, then we get the human, tiger life. Some cinema stars, Indians, they're very fond of seeing movies. Somebody, somebody wants to sleep all the time. Weekend is coming, what are you doing? I want to sleep. All nature says, let become a polar bear. Become a polar bear. And somebody, wants to expose. And the movies, and they want to show their body a lot. Nature says, why do you waste your human life? You don't want to wear clothes? No problem. Become a tree. And stand there for so many years. Hare Krishna. Nature's laws are, that's how nature's laws work, whether I believe it or not. These are all given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, ladies and gentlemen, so human life is a life of responsibility. Let us see, we are standing at the crossroads today, at whatever age you are in. If you utilize your human life to purify yourselves based on instructions of Gita, based on instructions of Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, believe me, you will have a better life. If you're fully purified, you'll go back to Godhead. You don't need to come and listen to this lecture. If you don't take it seriously, and do wrong things, we do not know what is going to be our fate in future. Interesting?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So that's why we should lead a pure life. You open any Vishwa Hindu Parishad book, in a human life, tapas saucham daya satyam. Dharma stands on 4 pillars. That's why it's represented by a cow. Not that dharma is cow, but it has 4 legs. So voluntary restraint to gain unending happiness. Like, I can give you best example, those of your engineers, doctors, professors, your friends were sleeping and you were sleeping, but let me read. I want to, I want to be better in this life. I want to be an engineer. I want to have a better life. So your mind is, telling, go to movie, go there, this, but you worked hard and today you have a better life. Same thing here. If you follow the same principle, rather than succumbing to the demands of the mind, and if you adopt voluntary restraint and go for a spiritual life, what is it you're doing? We met last week 1 hour, 1.5 hours. This week, again 1.5 hours. I really do not know what you did whole week. I'm just asking you, just, a little application, spending half an hour in the bathroom, come out and cleanse your heart half an hour. Through easy mantra meditation. You can do it wherever you are. And Sunday evening anyway, rather than sitting in front of a movie, which you have done a lot in the past anyway. Listen about yourself. This is a bank account that will come with you. So, pasya, austerity, sacrifice, action to please God. First is pasya. What is the first one? Austere pasya. A little like a simple vegetarian food. We'll talk about that later, don't worry. Second one is, because we don't emphasize so much on food habits, you can do. But let us see. Austerity, sacrifice, yajna. Sacrifice means yajna. Do work in such a way it is pleasing to God. Third one is read books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Acquire knowledge, Shastra. Then you'll understand very, like if you're a metallurgical engineer, you don't know anything about electronics. If you are a chemical engineer, you don't know anything about civil. If you are a computer science engineer, you don't know anything about what is that? Mechanical engineering. If you're a doctor, so you don't know anything about engineering. Likewise, like computer science, spiritual science is also subject matter. So meet the professors who can impart knowledge and associate with them on regular basis and learn from them, read. Like if you want to become surgeon in America or India, you have to study 13 years, right? 12, 13 years. So if it is so true with simple education, you want to see soul, which we cannot see with eyes anyway. But don't you think you need guidance from a professor, from a spiritual professor? So we need association, So we should utilize human life. We should utilize your human life. Then we'll be elevated, not degrade. Not degrade. People do not know this, because there's so much, maybe because of peer pressure or because they're attracted to sensual pleasures. There is so much bribery, so much bribery. Google says, hey, people are telling India is very good, India is very good. What India is very good? 85% of Google research searches, because Google is search engine, right? 86%, 84 or 86%. Indian searches are on pornography. Hare Krishna. Then where is the security for women? Where is the security for children? Because people do not know the higher pleasures. Naturally, they succumb to the lower pleasures. Lust, ignorance, greed, prestige, pride. What is the result? So much suffering in India. But if you adopt little restraint, if you utilize human life to purify your life, like kite, because kite, somebody is holding the kite. That's why kite flies high. Likewise, if you adopt regulative principles, if you adopt restraint, your life will become better. In fact, you'll attain the kingdom of God. If you keep that fact aside, this lifetime, in this present life, you'll become better. So there are two more topics you want me to cover this time, or should we dedicate to question and answers? I have 25 minutes. Mataji, Jilbhakti Mataji, or Ushna Mataji, what do you want? You want me to continue, or when finish it, or question answers?
Does anybody have any questions?
Last week, somebody asked.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah. Okay, just
Yes,
Prabhu.
Can I, Prabhuji? Yeah. So just I wanted to ask you that the words are very powerful. And if someone hurts, it goes on, it lingers in your mind for a long time, and then people don't sleep and people feel the suffering. What I meant is that whether the soul is suffering or the body is suffering, what is this, the state?
Who is this?
This is Shanti from Goa.
Okay. Soul doesn't suffer. Soul definitely doesn't suffer. Soul is pure, immune from all these things. Who suffers is ahankar, false ego. You remember subtle body has 3 elements. What are the 3 elements in subtle body? Mind, intelligence, and ego, right? So, so the subtle body suffers. The mind, mind, intelligence, the ego. So that we think we are this body, So especially the mind, oh, how can they say this to me? Why they are telling this to me? I have not done this. We feel bad because we identify with mind and ego. But actually soul doesn't suffer. That's why as you go do sadhana and you increase your consciousness, you can easily forgive. Because you're not the body. You're not the gross body, you're not the subtle body. So they are attacking you. They think they are that body, they think you're this body. That's how they attack. And you think you're this mind and this body, and you feel hurt. But honestly speaking, they cannot hurt you. So if you understand, and the second session you cannot understand this, you need a little sadhana. As I said, you're not the gross body, you're not the jacket or the sweater, you're a soul. So okay, they're not talking to you. They can, because they're not seeing you, they cannot attack you. The problem is with us. we are identifying with the gross body and subtle body. So who is hurt is ahankar. Who is hurt is mind. It's basically subtle body. That soul is not hurt. Okay.
There is one question in the chat, Prabhuji.
One more point which I wanted to ask you is that in Tamil Nadu there is a place called Vaidishwaran temple, where when we go there, then you have to give the name and then they tell about our past, that where we were born and then how we were. So is it true, Guruji? Because many people go there and then find and then get the solution for their problems, that why they are suffering in this birth. Just I wanted to ask you this. I don't know whether you know about the temple.
I don't know about the temple, but there is one thing called Bhrugu Muni, Bhrugu Sanhita. You know, in India, they are actually opening so many centers. You know, it is written about everyone. So, I know. In fact, it is said, if you are very pious soul, when you are in the womb of the mother, you can recollect up to 100 lifetimes. You know, so yes, what is it? Bhrugu Jyotisham something is there. I think they opened in Hyderabad also, I heard, and they can tell you. But I have only one question for you. What is the use if we learn what we were in the past life? There's not much use actually. You know, in fact, if our past life was a bad one, it will cause little disturbance in our present life. Very important is we should focus on future life actually. Our present and future. Very, very important is present life. You know, and of course, our present life will decide future life. It's there. It's there. It's definitely there. You know, India, especially in the place where the astrology has made a lot of advancement. You know, astrology is one of the limbs of the Vedas. You know, Jyotish Shastra. Yes, they can. You know, and there are 3-4 places like that. You know, are a powerful astrologer, you know, who is not so greedy or anything, he can tell you your past lives. If you make a little advancement, you can also tell, you know, it's possible. Now, only thing is we should be careful. We don't go to people who may cheat us. Okay.
And one more point which I want to ask you is that the soul has the right to select the body.
What is that?
The soul has the right to select the body.
We don't. No, nice question. I told you this already. We don't choose it. Nature, Prakriti, you know, Prakriti will decide. You know, in other words, metal energy, Maya. Metal energy will decide. You know, Krishna says in Gita, Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suit Sacharacharam. Maya works under my direction. So the Prakriti, metal nature will decide that, not us. You know, we may have a desire. We have certain desires. You know, I have a question for you. You know, that's what I asked last week also. You cannot choose. We cannot choose our parents. We cannot choose our body color. You cannot choose which form, man or woman, dog or cat. We cannot choose. Karamana devanetrena jantur deho pataye striyo pravishyavurum pumsavaryakanasraya. So karma, the way fish tail decides the movement of the fish, our karma will decide our future. That is the answer. And somebody asked a question here. World population is increasing every year by year. Can we infer that souls are getting increased? Nice question. Thank you. You know, without this question, usually this session doesn't end. Actually, first of all, I mean, who asked this question? Can you please tell your name? Are they dropped? Anyway, I'll answer. So, you know, the nice question. India population was only 35-40 crores when India got independence. Today, it's more than 120, 130 crores, right? So, does it mean so many souls are increasing? Nice question, actually. The answer is this. Answer is, first of all, souls are unlimited, Prabhu. They're unlimited. You know, Like, if you see a pond, there's so much bacteria, so much amoeba, fish. In Atlantic Ocean, Arctic Ocean, there's so many souls, so many fish. Their souls are everywhere actually. And it's so many planets. So yes, what is happening is, once we attain human form of life, people in the past, they would endeavor to go back to Godhead by adopting a pure life, by adopting a life of austerity, tapas, saucham, daya, satyam, because human life is like a launching pad. Once you attain the human life, let me go back to Godhead. I don't want to come back to this world. But because of Kali Yuga, especially in India, after, like in its past 50, 60 years, world is changing drastically. This knowledge is not given to anybody. Knowledge is not available to anybody. So people, they don't know what the goal of life is. So the humans are not going back to Godhead, either taking birth into human life or going to other species. But the evolution of the body is cat into dog, into beast, into bird, into reptile, finally human. So the evolution is happening, people are getting human lives, but from human life, people are not going back. And that is one answer. Another answer is, what is that? People come from different planetary systems also, so people come from different planetary systems. That is how one is answer is evolution. The souls are evolving. They're going through different species and getting human life. But humans are not going back to Godhead. That's why population is increasing. Does it answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. One more question, Prabhuji, if you permit.
Yes.
See, you said that people who want to eat anything and everything will become a tiger in the next life. But tiger population is getting decreased. So that type of people are decreasing or what? I just want to clarify.
Actually, if your nature is that of a tiger, one of the eating habits is tiger. Basically, tamogun. We'll see that in coming weeks, in next week. Tamogun, if you have too much tamogun, tiger population, Prabhuji, if you see, it is not just one planet, Prabhu. I have a video which I'll show you. What has amazed the scientists is the number of planets in the sky. Unlimited number of planets. If you go 5 light years, you'll see thousands of planets. If you go 10 light years, you'll see thousands of planets. If you go 1 million light years, you'll see thousands of planets. If you go 1 billion light years, you'll see thousands of planets. So that's why I said, the souls can travel anywhere, So it's not that even in this universe also, Earth is not the only place where the habitation is there. There are so many planets. Habitation is there. Bhagavatam says this. In moon planet, people are there. Even the living entity is on everywhere. Living entities are everywhere in sun planet. Scientists found out bacteria that can live at 900 degrees. Hare Krishna. So means Bhagavad Gita says souls are everywhere. So yes, today, what is that? Human being, our lifestyles have become, we are leading that type of lifestyles. Other species are becoming extinct. So it doesn't mean. What is your question? You said, tiger population. Yes, they're not just like, for example, polar bears are becoming extinct. Dinosaurs were there in the past. They are no longer visible. Means the nature, what nature does, nature makes sure, for the habitation of humans and other species, certain species are brought into existence, certain species are removed out of existence. But of course, we are the reason for the extinction of so many species, no doubt. And even if they are not here, they are in other places actually. because the soul is evolution of the soul is happening every second. Even our body is changing every second. You should know that. So reincarnation means reincarnate means changing body. So when you are 6-year-old, or when you are born, you are only 8 pounds. When 6-year-old, you are looking like in one way. When you're 20-year-old, you're looking another way, youthful. When you're 40-year-old, you're looking different. 50-year-old, middle age. 70-year-old, body has changed. That's how everyone is evolving. But one day, the body becomes unfit to live. Tada dehantara praptir. Dehinosman yada dehe kamaram yavananjara. Tada dehantara. One day this body becomes unfit to live. Then the soul goes to next species. So even though the tigers, the evolution for somebody, next body is tiger. So this planet may not be a good place for tigers to live, but there are other planets where they can live. But let me tell you, animals' life is not so great, because you have to come to human life, and you should utilize human life to cleanse your heart and go back to God and never come back. Does it answer your question?
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, got it.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandad pranams, Prabhu. Prabhu, can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yes.
Prabhu, I'm Krishna Vini from Chennai. Prabhu, as you said, if we are not this body, we are actually soul. If we affect from one disease, we are very much feeling so bad, and we cannot able to do any work like that. We are feeling. Is it so? So why if we according to the scriptures, its soul is so powerful, why we are feeling like that? Very weak we are feeling when we affect from some virus and all. So why this soul is not acting in that time?
One is no, understood. Thank you. One is there is no knowledge. Second thing is we are deeply absorbed in bodily consciousness. We think we are this body, So another thing is when we have the deep absorption in the body, in fact, what ties the body with the soul is ahankar. Ahankar is the rope that ties the body to the soul. So I may tell a lot of theory today. If you don't do sadhana, 20 years later, when the toothache comes, I'm not the soul, I'm not the body, I'm not the soul, I'm the spirit soul. No, it doesn't work. So because we declared rebellion on God, so the pure spirit soul was pushed into this body, temporary body, chained into this body, and we are whatever the trouble body is going through, soul is misidentifying with the changes of the body. When you become old, oh, I'm becoming old, wrinkles are coming. That is because there is no knowledge. That's why I said last week, real charity is not just giving food or medicine. Real charity is making people aware that you're not the body but spirit soul, and make people follow the bhakti process where they realize, not just theoretically, but practically, they are not this body. And live in this, even though, you're living, but soul is living in the body, no doubt. So, but slowly what you have to do, you have to cut that rope, which is binding the soul to the body, ahankar. For that, there is a word called sadhana. Sadhana is not some girl's name. Sadhana means it's a spiritual process whereby if you practice regularly, we realize in practicality, in reality, we are not the body but spirit soul. Swami Prabhupada, who started a ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, 1 year he did not even eat. But he was traveling. So one of his PhD disciples, scientist disciples, Swarudamar Maharaj came to see him. He said, you scientists, you look for proofs, right? See, past 1 year, I'm not eating, hardly taking anything. My body is totally emaciated. It's just totally, it's gone, but I'm living. That is a sign I'm a spirit soul. So telling is not enough. We need to realize it. Realize means we in ISKCON, we tell people to do mantra meditation. When we do mantra meditation on a regular basis, slowly we become free from Maya. then what happens? We realize that we are not the body but the soul, and we act on that. But in India also, for example, if you go to any auto rickshaw driver or rickshaw, hum jante hain, hum sharir nahi, hum atma hai. Everyone says that in India. Real spirituality means not theory, but you have to act on it. One PhD, one doctor, not a medical, but a PhD doctor told me, my father got cancer. Then I went to India and I told her, don't suffer, father. You are a spirit soul. You are not the body. So I went to and only to tell this. She acquired knowledge. Then I told her, it doesn't work like that. So they are going through so much suffering. And just by telling, you're not the body doesn't work. They need to do sadhana. Then only they will realize. Forget about them. Even if you don't, for you also, if you don't do sadhana, you cannot do, when the problem comes, you will also go through trouble. I told her. After listening, in fact, forget about anybody, myself. I've been preaching alone. Actually one day one very senior devotee came to me and said, Yugal Kishore, I have a realization. Yes, Maharaj, what is that? I think I am this body. He joked. Because yesterday I went to dentist and they removed the tooth. So the point I'm making is, we should thoroughly, we should do sadhana, then we'll realize. If you want, I'll give you a proof. You said so much suffering. Should I give an example?
Oh, yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Your finger is cut. And you may be crying also. Suddenly somebody comes, or you switch on the TV, and a famous comedian is cracking jokes, and you're listening. You start laughing. So what happened to this finger? What happened to your cut? So why you are not crying? Why are you listening the joke and laughing? You have senses, mind, ego, and soul. So right now your consciousness has gone from sensual level to mental level. So now you're able to ignore this suffering and you're identifying yourself with the joke. You liked the example or not?
Yes, Prabhu, very much.
Likewise,
Prabhu.
Wait. Likewise, if you utilize human life and slowly jump onto the, it's called sacred space, soul space. Believe me, many of your troubles on the body, you can ignore. Actually, I'll tell you, my mother is actually right now suffering like anything. I can see her. And she's a good example. But she's doing great sadhana. She does for hours. That time, she's able to overcome her problems. I told her, just because of this, you're able to overcome your suffering. Amazing. I could see that happening actually. Yes, anything else? We have 4 minutes to finish.
And one more question, Prabhu. Prabhu, and also to maintain the body, is it really necessary to do exercise and all? Nowadays, guys are doing many exercise, going to gym, everything. So is it necessary or we should not do?
Sarira madhyankalu dharma sadhanam. So body is the means by which we perform spiritual activities. So we should protect the body because we are living in the body. Body is like a car. So body should be protected. So for example, you want to do sadhana, but if you don't maintain your body properly, what do you call it? You have ruined your health. Then you cannot do proper sadhana. So very important thing is you should protect your body nicely. So we do yoga regularly, you take your car or motorcycle for servicing, right? Likewise, do yoga, why not? But it is only, this yoga is not to shape your body, but and to protect your health, you need exercise. They're called self-care rituals. Yeah, definitely body should be taken good care. Health is a good friend. You don't know the value of him when he's there, and you'll realize his absence only when he is not there. Who is that he? Health. Health is a good friend. So protect your health. That's very important. One neurosurgeon told me, Yugal Kishore ji, what is that? You have a lifeline and a health line. Doctors cannot extend your lifeline. But he said, until the last day, you should maintain your health line. By regulation, it is given in Bhagavad Gita, Yukta Ahara Viharasya Yukta Cheshtasya Karmasu Yukta Swapna Bodhasya Yoga Bodhi Dukha. Yukta. Can you believe Krishna is telling how much you should eat, how much you should sleep, whatever recreation you should go through, we should go for? That's what Krishna is telling. So do everything in a very regulated way. Fine. Krishna is telling you to even enjoy, but it's in a regulated way. But take good care of your body. Because the lifeline you cannot extend, but health line you should extend until the last day. Suppose you are supposed to live 80 years. Because of the abuse of the body, you have finished your health line by 60 years. Your body will give so much trouble. You cannot do sadhana, good sadhana. So we should have good health, we should have good relationships. If mind gives trouble, can you do sadhana? Or if body gives trouble, can you do sadhana? So if you want to realize yourself, you need to have a good sadhana. You need to have a good body. You need to have a good subtle body. Good gross body and good subtle body. So what we will do, thank you. We'll end it here. And next week we'll continue. Okay?
Dandavat pranams, Prabhu, for your wonderful answers.
Thank you. If I have spoken anything wrong, do excuse me as your humble servant. Very grateful for your patient audience. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Very nice session, Guruji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Amending.